What's up, Virgo? Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. Please come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to maybe learn something or better yourself. And if the messages that come through don't resonate for you, feel free to push them aside. They may resonate for you at a later time or date, but at first go ahead and assume they're going out to someone else if it feels strange or foreign. It's always best to trust your own intuition above all else, to separate what is meant for you and what is not. And I say that because ultimately you're accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. You know this, I know this. All right, let's do it. I got to do my spiel, right? Let's set the intention now, though, to get my Virgo gang out there watching some clear, helpful, and insightful messages for wherever they are currently at on their spiritual path. Happy eclipse season, guys. I hope eclipse season is treating you well. The unconscious fight. All right, we're going to read about that. First, let's look at your oracle cards, and then we will hop into the tarot. Oh my gosh, this card has come out 3 times. So it totally came out for Taurus and I think Scorpio. But like, of all the cards in this deck, it keeps wanting to show itself. And I mean, it is a card kind of, it says harmony, ease, inner child, and softness. And I think because of that like full moon in Libra, North Node, collectively, we're all being kind of projected into that Aries kind of fiery energy. But with that, like we have to be able to sustain our momentum and our movement and our action. So we do need to check in with our body and ourselves and make sure that we are operating at a place of like equilibrium internally. I think that's why the harmony card keeps coming out. It's about being good to yourself. It's about being soft and compassionate with yourself, even though we are trying to sort of, in some ways, like steam ahead and get to the next thing. And yeah. So this says, may sweet and soft things find you, harmony, ease, inner child, and softness. The yellow petals on that flower are really popping to me. So yellow may be of particular significance to some of you this week. The universe may be sending you signs, messages, synchronicities with yellow. Also, bumblebees came up a lot in the other 2 readings that I did with this. And interestingly enough, this is 7 and 2, so the 27 brings it to 9, right? And you guys are card 9, you're the hermit. So even more significant for you guys, I might say. So you had 3 career cards come out. I haven't done that for anyone, but I'm going to do it for you, Virgo, because it seems like maybe money and career might be on your mind. So assistance. There are some resources you have overlooked that would help you resolve your financial issue. Someone is willing to help you recover. So ask for help. Be a good advocate for yourself. Do some research. There may be other opportunities that, you aren't aware of yet simply because you don't know. You only know what you know, so you might need to learn more or know more. And then adjustments. You may need some adjustments in your spending. Your expectations are not met at this time. It's better to be prepared than sorry. All right, and last but not least, oh my God, this card too. No joke, this came out for Scorpio, and I think this came out for Cancer or Leo. I can't remember, but crazy. Again, of all the cards, there's something to it. There's synchronicities going on. You mesmerize people with your charm and elegance. You have a style that captivates your audience. Use your confidence to your advantage. I feel like you're coming through as a person who doesn't like to ask for help or favors, but it's like people show up for you. So why are you not taking advantage of that? And it's not necessarily having to come from a place of like manipulating them to get what you want. Maybe some of you, and bear with me, and this is a very bizarre message, but it's coming through for a reason. Maybe some of you are used to that, having to like put on a performance to get what you want out of people, when maybe you're starting to change your approach of being more real and authentic and vulnerable and not being afraid to ask for help, knowing that it doesn't make you look bad or stupid or silly. It's actually a really powerful form of self-respect to be able to be like, hey, I don't know this and I need some help, because ultimately like you're wanting to, flex that muscle, you're wanting to improve it, you're wanting to gain that tool in your tool belt. So it shows like a growth mindset of wanting to learn more. So it's not, I think it's that you feel like it makes you look less than, or that you lack something, when really it's the opposite. There's a confidence for people who are able to ask for help, and like humbleness, yes. I mean, I don't think that's usually an issue with Virgo. I think you guys tend to be fairly humble and modest. Generally speaking, everyone's a little bit different. But yeah, it's like there doesn't need to be this like transactional thing of if you do this, I'll do that. Some of you may have been using like, I don't know if it's charm or beauty or something to get ahead, when the universe is like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And if you do feel like you're being put in a position where it is tit for tat, maybe you're asking the wrong person. Maybe you're dealing with someone who thinks in that transactional mindset. In fact, I think a lot of you may have grown up in a household where it was like you felt very almost manipulated by like a parent or a sibling, like, all right, well, I'll do you this one favor, but I just hope that you do this for me. And it was like sort of like emotional manipulation. Yeah, it's very, very interesting coming through there. Okay, sorry. But that was an important message. And then you have Amazonite for your Gemstone Whisper Oracle. This is about the truth. Truth, but better to get hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. Interesting. Yeah, there is something kind of about dropping the curtain or seeing what's going on behind the scenes or dropping the mask. It's funny, as I'm saying that, there is something about undressing or almost like a seducing seductress energy, and I'm not necessarily saying that's you. And because it's tarot and oracles, like, it doesn't always mean literally, but this idea of like, I don't know, seduction. Like, what is the ultimate goal? What are we trying to do here? And I mean, because you had 3 career cards come out and that you're the only sign I did that for, something about that is very significant. It may have to do with tactics that are being used at work or at the workplace. Charming people to get what you want out of them. Just be careful you're not sort of the victim of someone else's like tactics where it's like the reasoning behind it or the motivation behind it is questionable. I think some of you are at a workplace where either you don't trust a colleague or a coworker, or you're worrying that your goals and visions aren't really in alignment with the company's principle and code of ethics. There's a couple messages coming through there. So and some of you, it's like you might be afraid to put your neck out and stick your neck out, whatever the expression is, and like say the thing that needs to be said. It's almost like you may be empowered this week to kind of have to speak for the people. And that might not be something you're comfortable doing or something that you would ever really find yourself doing on your own free will. Or not free will, that's a weird way of putting it. It's like you may get yourself into a situation where you are sort of being I don't know, pushed into a corner, but needing to vocalize something and speak your truth and sort of maybe draw a line in the sand or object to something or open up a conversation where it's like, hey, like something happened and it's not right, and so it does need to be addressed. And maybe that's happening at the workplace, but maybe it's happening for you in other areas of your life as well too. It may even have to do with a difficult conversation you're having with your child about like respect and tone of voice and respecting authority or something of the sort. All right, so then your Fearless Oracle card for Aries season, I thought that was cool. Fearless, fight like a girl, or whatever you identify as. You have the Unconscious Fight. So this is card 10. Card 10. The answer to your current situation isn't to be found on the topside world. There are forces acting on your psyche and therefore your conscious reality that are unseen. But just because they are unseen does not mean that they are unreachable. Submerge yourself in the world of dreams. Pay attention to the symbols showing up in your walking life. Communicate with them through meditation, trance work, theta, I'm not sure what that is, THEATA, automatic writing, or in therapy. Explore the unconscious to see what messages swim in your depths. Okay. All right, let's tarot it up. What deck shall we use? What deck? Guess I'm feeling this one. Why not? For Virgo. So what tarot messages want to come out or be expressed for Virgo? Some of you may feel pushed into a corner because you're being asked for a favor, and like your intuition is like, there's something weird about this. There's something not right. And I don't do fear-based readings. That's not what this is about, but this is about healthy boundaries and stepping up or speaking up for yourself and being able to say no. Like, no is a full sentence. And especially for those who feel like you're being emotionally manipulated or someone's giving you kind of this like pouty, passive-aggressive, no, all right, well, it's fine if you don't want to cover my shift. I mean, I did it for you when you were sick a month ago, but that's fine. Like, it's very like you're dealing with someone whose energy is like not cool. Not cool at all. All right, the Fool. So the Fool is about taking a leap of faith. It's something about a rain stick is coming through, something about like dance or magic or trying to summon something. It's almost like leading into magician energy, trying to manifest something. The Fool might be breaking free from something, but being able to hold your head high because you did what was right. You did what was just. You did what was moral. There's a lot of that like Libra energy coming through with like South Node, maybe needing to end something or leave something because it's immoral or out of balance, and it's not necessarily your job to remedy it. Some of you might be trying to do that, but it's almost like leaving on your own principle, but it's not coming up or coming through to me as being up on your high horse or being stubborn that you can't see anyone else's way. That's not typically you, Virgo, right? You're mutable, you're adaptable, you're changeable. You can see things from the other perspective, right? With this, it's like feeling like, you know what, like I'm better off alone then. Because there's something about in a group dynamic or possibly a relationship, but it's coming through more career for me. You don't believe in the common goals anymore and the shared vision. It got mucked up. It's like new leadership came in, or some new like code of ethics came through, or I don't even think it's code of ethics. It's some sort of like, what do you call it? Like the book they give you at the beginning, like, hey, this is like our code of conduct. Yeah, maybe that's it. Like the code of conduct, you're just like, I don't agree with this. Like, what does this mean? Like you're kind of reading the fine print and being like, ew, I don't like how that is phrased. And I think some of you may have the bravery or the courage to step up and ask some questions. I think a lot of you may feel like you're dismissed, or they give you something temporarily to soothe you or to, I'm hearing, bide your time. It's almost like they don't want you to speak up. It's like you saw the flaw in the plan and they're like, oh, well, no, it's fine because, we're going to talk about that later. But anyway, like, it's almost like there's sorry, my words are not coming to me right now. It's almost like metaphorically, guys, you almost get like hush money, if that makes sense. In regards to work, it's like you point something out to the boss or to your supervisor. And like, this is such an extreme message, but it's like, you knew, like you found out, and now it's like people are scrambling behind the scenes because there's a lot that goes on behind the black curtain that you and your fellow people don't know about. And your intuition is like, yeah, something is weird here. Something is not right. And you may actually mention something sort of very innocently, not even with this sort of motivation to make major changes and, break down the power structure. It's like you may just kind of toss something out like, without even thinking about it, just mentioning something like, oh, hey, isn't this like the dates don't align here? This money amount isn't correct. Gosh, I wonder how that happened. And like with the idea of like, oh, I'll have to look into it. And somebody overhears that and like you make someone a little bit nervous. I know this is very specific, but it's the idea of that energy of like, what's up and it's freaking other people out because they know that they flubbed up or they slipped up. I suppose for one or two of you, this could have to do with a romantic partner where you may be getting sort of a psychic feeling or an intuition that maybe there's someone else in the picture or that they haven't been completely faithful or something like that. Queen of Pentacles can sometimes be the wife card. And maybe some of you knew that to begin with. I'm not saying that's true for all of you, but maybe you were playing with fire a little bit. Maybe you were in a situation where you didn't totally agree with it, but you had to pay the bills, or like, I just want to have sex. So like, whatever, like it'll be a one-time thing and move on. But I don't know, like, whatever the situation is, it was like you were there longer than you anticipated, but you're having that nagging feeling like, I may have to go, or I may have to say something, or stand up for myself, because ultimately it does come down to self-worth and self-value with the Queen of Pentacles. And rather than operating from lack mentality, too, of like, well, I can't quit this job because how am I going to pay the bills? I don't know, with the Fool, it's almost like you get rewarded for trusting your gut instincts and operating with really high integrity and like a high moral compass or moral values. Or I'm wanting to use those like really powerful kind of like Sagittarian words. It's like ethically you don't agree with what's going on. And so maybe at one point you participated in it and you're having like guilt or remorse or shame over that. And so the remedy for a lot of you is just simply removing yourself from it and letting the chips fall where they will. I think that's what the Fool is, like a leap of faith into coming into a healthier balance with your body, but honoring and respecting like the inner voice of, ooh, this doesn't feel right. And if they're not going to fix it and I'm not allowed to fix it, maybe I need to remove myself from the situation and be more precious about my life and who I interact with and who I engage with. All right, so for some of you, maybe it does have to do with a love connection. I think, operating and leaning into high self-respect with the Queen of Pentacles. There's like a fox and a bunny here too. So like pouncing on an opportunity that seemed really exciting at one point, but then it's like something is starting to unravel. You're starting to see what's really going on. You're starting to understand and feel that this person's true intentions aren't necessarily what you thought they were. I think you need to be protective of your own inner child too, and your own light and your own skills and talents and whatever you bring to the table. If this is work related, are you sharing it with people who have kind of a dark energy? And I have to be honest, I think I told you guys last week, I did a reading for you Virgos, and it was so specific and it was just an eerie reading. It was very much about like manipulation. In terms of almost like black magic and working against people's free will. And I chose not to post it because it felt very like one person's energy was dominating an entire reading for like YouTube. And I was like, all right, this doesn't seem significant enough to post. But I am getting pieces of that again. So that does say to me, collectively, some of my Virgos must be in a situation where you're being either forced to work with someone or choosing to work with someone and not loving it, and questioning their intentions and motivations, and sort of being on that cusp of needing to say something or address it, or to simply trust your intuition and be like, ooh, I'm gonna distance myself. Get your protection crystals like black obsidian. I'm not saying people are working their black magic on you. I don't even want to get into that, and I don't do fear-based readings, but I am sort of wanting to say, trust your gut instincts, that intuition, right? There's something very important and being underscored about when the vibe isn't right. Trust that might not be for you, and don't look at it as sort of like a blocked door. It's like when you choose self-respect and walk away from something that isn't offering anything beautiful or positive or beneficial to your life, the universe is going to pat you on the back and congratulate you and reward you by honoring that intuition and choosing a higher road or a higher path or choosing to go in an opposite direction. And I think this, lovers, has to do with like finding someone who's actually in alignment with you, finding someone who's actually a good match. Something about an energy vampire, someone who just, they're draining. They suck all the fun and they suck all the like your zest for life. When you hang out with this person, you feel physically drained. That's what it could be too. And I mean, whatever the situation is, that person is probably going through their own stuff, but it's starting to impact their workspace. It's starting to impact you. And that's where like boundary lines need to be drawn more, especially in regards to, your health and your body and your wellness. It's becoming taxing on you. Something about going home with headaches or going home with migraines. 10 of Cups. Yeah. So for most of you, love actually looks like it's taking a turn for the positive. Some of you may have already started dating somebody, and it's almost like something about that is so lovely and precious. And you'll know if that's your story because it only brings happiness to your life. You're not questioning your partner's motivation, right? If you're getting like a nagging sense about that, this might not be your part of the story. But it's like when you go home at the end of the day, there's solace and comfort in the arms of your person. And I think that is so nice and lovely and precious. The universe is like, yeah, let's take the good stuff and like bring it elsewhere. As my hair falls into this. Like, let's take this and like bring it into a new space or a new environment. Some of you may quite literally need to get out of like a seedy apartment where your neighbors are like loud or involved in like sketchy stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's a weird like community energy of like needing to remove yourself from it, but you're still able to salvage what is good and what is pure, but you may need to start somewhere else. That's really what I'm getting for you. Yeah, I mean, you have the Lovers that leads to the 10 of Cups. So some of you could be taking a romantic relationship to the next level. I really like this. This story has more to do with the idea of playing with fire in terms of like, I'm kind of sort of seeing someone and like, I know their ex is still in the picture, but they're going to leave them and blah, blah, blah. Like that feels a little bit like, come on now. Like, yeah, I keep wanting to say playing with fire. You're going to get burned. Be careful. Why not set yourself up for success and start off by dating someone who they're single and they want to be in a relationship and they're an excellent communicator. They're very authentic, They speak the truth. Something with a Leo or a Gemini might be coming through there. Scorpio. All right. This says pivot. This always makes me think of Friends. This came out in someone else's reading. And they're moving the couch and they're like, pivot. Ross. Oh, I love Ross. He's a Scorpio, I think. All right, let's see. Sometimes when things aren't falling into place after trying and trying, it's time to ask yourself if pivoting in some way would be a good idea so that your life can flow more easily and effortlessly. How can you pivot even just a little bit? There are solutions around you though, so don't ever feel like you're trapped in a situation. That's devil energy. That's like shadow side energy taking over. The light is always going to win over the dark, but we have to embrace both. We have to consider both. And ultimately, like chariot energy, we have to use them both to get ourselves out of the situation. We need to acknowledge the shadow and the fear and then work through it in a positive way. All right, Virgo, that's what I got for you. Show me some love and hit that like button. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. You're welcome to book a personal reading with me if you want something catered to your energy and inquiries. You can reach me via email. That is in the description box below. If you want more content, I'm on Instagram and Facebook as The Intuitive Teacup. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.